Hey everyone, welcome back to the Howard Homestead, or if it's your first time, welcome. We're so glad you found us. I know today's a little bit different of a day that you're not expecting a video from me, but I had a little something I wanted to talk about, so that's what we're going to do today. Well, I was going to try to film this part of the video in with the goats, but they weren't having it. They were climbing all over me and just making it difficult. So we'll just stay outside the fence and they can pop in as they want. But anyway, I wanted to talk today about how the things that you say matter. And it doesn't matter if you say them directly to a person's face, behind their back, if they know who said it, or if it's anonymous. Words are still a big deal and they have the potential to do a lot of harm. I just want to share a little story about what happened to me this week. In my last video, I told you about how I was having to deal with the loss of one of our dogs. Rascal, he was an old man and it was just his time to go. Well, what you don't know, but I'm about to tell you right now, is that right after I posted that video, I came in and Pipsqueak, my little chihuahua, was having trouble. He had been coughing and I wasn't sure what was going on. I wasn't too worried about it at first, but then after a few hours it turned into a different kind of cough that did worry me. We got home from church on Sunday, and like I said, I had just posted that video and I could see that he was not gonna make it. And I picked him up and held him, and as soon as I did, he just went limp in my arms. His heart eventually stopped, and my little guy, my little buddy, died in my arms. So that was pretty traumatic, pretty devastating for me, losing two dogs in a period of 4 or 5 days. That's not anything that I've ever wanted to live with. I don't think anybody should ever have to go through that. But I posted my video, and the next morning there was a comment on the video. Now, I love it when you guys comment on videos. I wish you would do it more often. I like to see what you have to say. Unfortunately, this comment was not a nice one. And I knew when I started doing these videos that I was opening myself up to potentially negative and hurtful comments, and that's fine. I'm not overly concerned about that, because what these people don't realize is that any comments they make, whether they're good or bad, they contribute to the algorithm of the video and bring the video up in people's feeds, and just, they help me pretty much. It doesn't matter what they say. But this comment that I woke up to first thing Monday morning was pretty derogatory towards me. And thankfully, I have enough self-worth that, yeah, it hurt, and I didn't really just look at it and laugh it off. I did shed a tear or two over it, but I know that what that person said isn't even remotely me. The person doesn't even know me, so it's just, it was a waste of time on his or her part. The funny thing is, for several days before that, I had been waking up every morning, and also whenever I would wake up in the middle of the night, I had the song "The Truth" by Megan Woods in my head. It's just going through my head, and the lyrics that were going through my head were, I'm probably gonna mess them up a little bit, but the truth is, I'm a child of God. I make him smile and I make him proud. I was made in the image of a perfect king. he looks at me and wouldn't change a thing. And that's what matters to me. And then Sunday in church, we were talking about where we get our identity. And if we get our identity from outside influences like our job, our friends, or whatever, and just different things. And then how our identity should come from like a top-down approach. Our identity comes from God. And he made us, and like the song says, he looks at us and we're perfect in his eyes. He wouldn't change us at all. Now, the person who made this comment obviously has their own issues. And I am so sorry for that person. And I pray that they are able to meet the Savior that created them and are able to love themselves the way he does, because obviously that's not the case right now. And the story doesn't end there. If you remember in the book of Genesis, the story of Joseph, he was sold into slavery by his brothers. They hated him because he was his dad's favorite, and so they intended to do him harm. But God used that situation and turned it around and used it for good. And Joseph was able to work with the Pharaoh and to help save his people because of the famine that they were going through. So same thing here. What the enemy, this person who made this comment, intended for evil, I believe God used for good. Because what that caused me to do was realize that the song that I had been having in my head for so many days and the conversation in church that we had was preparing me for this situation that was about to happen. And on Tuesday morning, I was driving over to my brother-in-law's house. We carpool to go to work. And I was listening to the Christian radio station where this song was always playing whenever I would turn it on. That's another place it was coming into my subconscious. But I called into the radio station and I told my story. And I hope that somebody heard that story and was encouraged by it. I know that they have callers all the time that call in, and I hear their stories, and they'll just affect me in some way and just be such a blessing. And I hope that my story is a blessing to someone. So I just wanted to use this time. I know this is a strange video. It's not the normal type of video that I do, but I just wanted to use this time to encourage you to make choices that are going to bless others, not that are going to hurt others. You know what? If you feel some way about somebody, that's okay. Just keep it to yourself. You don't need to share it. And because you don't know what that can do to somebody. If I wasn't so strong in in my self-worth, that could have caused me, especially after having gone through what I did with Pipsqueak, that could have caused me to do some serious damage to myself or somebody else or something. And you just don't know. So I encourage you today to use your influence, whatever that may be. What could be just prayer. It could be talking to your neighbor in the hall. It could be, sitting with a coworker at lunch. Whatever your influence is, use it to bless others and not to hurt them. Okay, well, that's about all I have today. So I'm going to let you all go, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And I should have a more normal video on Sunday. Bye, guys.